Where's my mouse is playing up? There we go.
Okay. Well, here we are, another episode of our Self-Love Summit or our Self-Love Summit podcast.
Yay! We're back.
Yeah, we are. And we're just going to have a little bit of a conversation about what's been going on for the both of us.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, this whole work from home thing. You know, we were just talking about we do get a little bit complacent with the relationships in our lives because we're working from home. And it really does take discipline. You know, I think that you've really got to put some, you know, this is now where we need to be mindful because, you know, as Louise says in that philosophy, what we give out, we get back. That goes for everything. It's not just, you know, if you're thinking you're putting out shitty words or shitty thoughts, you're going to get shitty actions or shitty circumstances back. But this is even just in general everyday life. Like when we're just, you know, wanting to go with the flow and look, let's face it, we have all become so comfortable with working online and we're all newsreaders, you know, from the waist up is what you see. And
that's exactly, I love that terminology. I love that terminology. We're actually all become newsreaders.
Yeah. And we have. And you know, then you say, okay, so I've got to go and do this little bit of work, but then I'll be back to you. And then we shortcut the things that we need to do for our business or our work. We shortcut there, but we shortcut the relationships at the end of the day because then we're trying to cram all the shit in that we didn't get done.
Totally.
And, you know, you've had that experience.
Oh, look, and just even last night, I said to hubby, we had a lovely dinner together. We were just sitting chatting because, as I was mentioning to you earlier before we started this podcast, it's really important to reconnect back with those you love because I think COVID has had such a profound impact on all of us to want to reach further into our inner selves more, and spending time by ourselves is actually it's not something many of us have become frightened of, and probably in many cases something we yearn for. And I know I certainly do. Me having my own space has become more important more than ever in the last couple of years. However, at the expense also of my relationships. Just last night, as I was saying, I just said to hubby, we finished watching something, and I'm not a TV watcher, which is a big problem for me as well because I have to make myself sit in front of the TV with him because he loves TV. And we were watching a comedy, and then we turned it over and I said, all right, you find something and I'm just going to pop into the office. I've just got something that's going to take 5 minutes. 25 minutes later, I showed up. And he pretty much was like, sat there for 5 minutes and said, I'm going to bed now.
Yeah.
So I have to take responsibility for that myself. Because that's actually about, and look, you know, as you know, Wendy, I've got a lot going on, but most of us do. So stop making that excuse. I was only saying to you earlier as well, stop making excuses.
Yeah.
It's about, and probably what I used to harp on about is maybe saying no to some of the things that you need that aren't as a priority in your life at that day. And so you can fit in the areas that are a priority. Yeah,
but you know, we've been a conforming kind of community. Like we conformed with being pushed, you know, with the separation, with us being pushed into our homes and being forced, for many, being forced into close proximity with people that they found that they didn't really like, or that they had a need to get away from, you know. And there's a lot of people like that, that they're in unhappy relationships, and they go out to their day job and go out to their social things as a means of being able to never confront that. And so being forced into that closed-knit environment at home, and then we become comfy. So even, you know, like I said, you know, have a look at the relationships. Like there is a really fine line with you know, this whole self-love thing, because some of it is utter bullshit and some of it is really valid. But there's a fine line where we say, okay, I'm going to eat the chocolate. I'm going to not, give to myself on those times, because, have a look at when you're, single and you're looking for a relationship. You really have that relationship with yourself where you treat yourself well. You exercise and you eat healthy and you take pride in this.
Because sometimes the opposite is you're so distressed that you don't have a relationship, and then you start to do the total opposite.
Yeah, and you perpetuate.
Yeah,
exactly. But for this, you take care of yourself, then you get the relationship, and then you go into the comfort zone, which is like in our business, is exactly where I was saying we are, in that comfort zone.
Yep.
Where, there's an event coming up. We haven't done a lot of face-to-face events, they haven't been available, and now it's come available, and you're thinking, oh my God, I've got to get dressed up to go, like I've got to actually stop the newsreader thing.
That's right.
And put on get out of the slippers and put on some, going out shoes, to be able to go out to these events and be present with those people. Yep. And so it's the same as our relationships, when, instead of, I'll just do this little one thing now, and then I'm going to shortcut the end of the day and cram everything in and be in there for the time when you need to be. Yeah. You need to be present with your loved ones. We fall into that habit, but that whole, when we kind of teeter on the edge, and that's about setting boundaries and having structure, so we achieve what we need to be able to give. What we give, we get back. And so when we're needing to give to our business, we need to have certain hours that we give to our business. Yes. And when we need to give to our loved ones, we need to have certain hours that we give to our loved ones. We need to make an effort to be present. And I think that is, you have a look at that chapter that Louise writes about, and there's a whole host of stuff in there. But I think when you put it into reality, we're living it right now.
Yes, totally. And I think that's what brought up our conversation when we first started on this morning, was what is the power of that and the importance of that as well. And just how, both of us have had to have events in the last 2 days where we literally had to make that effort to go beyond just the office attire for the bottom, and the newsreader attire. That's what I'm going to start calling it, the newsreader attire, where we just didn't have to go that extra mile. And both of us had to go that extra mile yesterday, and it was like, oh, okay, I know with me, as I said to you, I need to do this more often. I actually need to have to really make the effort. But I think all of this is sort of like coming together like a big puzzle for me at the moment. It's like I'm having these mountainous amounts of aha moments, knowing that, I was always good. When I first got into my business, I was really good at managing my time. And then I've, with COVID, where just days slipped into nights really, because we were home so much. I just found that it didn't really matter when I worked. Because, and to start with, hubby, when hubby first retired, he also was stuck down the coast. So I was here for 4 months by myself.
Yeah, wow.
And so there was me to worry about, which is why I say to you also, you can have that very much inward focus of myself, and you forget about everybody else around you, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so I now have started to, just in the last probably 4 days, because I've also had, as you know, Nick here, and helping her with her, and then also fitting in bits and pieces that I need to for me. And I've gone, it's, I don't know, it's not, it's just, having that slower time with Nick has probably made me go, aha, I need to go back to my Mondays off. Mondays are my day off. It was always my day off. I had a long weekend every weekend. So I've done that. I've gone back to my days off, which is why I was able to have my lunch with girlfriends and Nick yesterday. And today is always my full day in the office. and I'm okay if I give my permission to be a newsreader today, to have from the top up. That's okay, because it's cold here, the heater's on, it's been snowing outside. And so that's a perfect reason to have. I'm in the office, I've got stuff to do all day. I'm going to have a long day. I'll be here probably till about 9 o'clock tonight. And that's okay. Tomorrow, though, I will have clients and I will work around them, but me time as well. I'm actually sticking to my 4 o'clock. I will not take clients after 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of myself, Wendy. I'm having those aha moments where I'm going, I'm actually going to start sticking to this. Look, I have to prove it to you, but at the moment,
you have to prove it to you, not to me. You have to prove it to yourself.
That's true. See, that's true, isn't it?
It's about self-responsibility
to me and my loved ones.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about making you're never going to just go, you know what, there it is, it's all done. It's going to take and this my whole thing is that we have to acknowledge that life is about choices. And I've said this forever. Every single thing that happens in our life is about choices. We've either chosen one path or the other.
Yeah.
We can choose to feel about something one way or the other. We can choose to look at something one way or the other. But it is about choices, and we can choose to not have the structure and to not, really be the CEO of our own business and be very structured in what we need to do there. And then to be able to go and have that me time and have that time with friendship, with relationships, or, with our family and friends. We can choose not to.
Yeah.
Like it's a choice, isn't it? So
absolutely.
And the only thing, when I say about responsibility, we buy our own excuses.
I was saying that to you today, didn't I?
And I have to say to people when, with the group that I run and that the business mastermind support group, as well as other streams where I'm guiding people and coaching people, you can buy. I haven't got the money to buy you bullshit excuses.
No.
You've got to be able to come up with the cash for that yourself, because the only one that you're shortcutting, that you're really making a dent on
Yes.
what value it brings to your life is you. Yep. It's not me.
No.
Because my life, like, it doesn't affect my life. My life, what you do in yours does not affect me.
No, that's exactly right. It's my stuff, isn't it?
But what I do in mine absolutely affects me and affects my loved ones. And so that's my responsibility, is to myself. And the same, we were talking about, the eating or not eating, the exercise or not exercise. Again, it's a choice, and it's about seeing what value that brings. If we don't put good fuel in the body, we can't expect to be able to sit at a computer and do what we need to do, or to sit with clients and be able to do what we need to do, or even sit with family and do what we need to do. That's where we go to sleep instead of being awake, like all that stuff, because you can't expect a car. I couldn't get in a car here in Brisbane and drive to you in Canberra.
No.
And not put any fuel in it.
That's exact. And you know what? You would have to check your oil just in case.
Or put shitty fuel in.
That's right.
I'd have a mongrel trip.
Yeah.
That's
be coming all the way. Yeah. But that's the reality of it. I think the really important thing is calling your own bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I had become. I needed to call my own bullshit, because I was the one continually making excuses. I'm busy, I've got this, or I've got that. And also going back to the saying no to what is not really aligning to you. It's about prioritizing as well. So where are your priorities in your life? And I've actually sat down and I've identified that. Yeah. And then from there, I'm able to go, well, okay, well, that can wait till tomorrow. And I actually must admit, I went to do something earlier in that day yesterday, and I thought, no, leave that. You're going to have a full computer day tomorrow. So I have got that in my mindset. It's just that I have set myself another task where I want to go live every day.
Yeah, because how exciting. You've got your 66 days of self-care.
Yeah, but And that again is about getting some sort of a routine happening, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's more about taking back your power of aligning yourself to what you've got going on around you, and again the priorities.
Yeah.
It's being present, really, isn't it? It all comes back to being present.
Yeah, it's being present in your business, you giving value, being present, giving value to others in those daily lives, in that whole structure, and encouraging others to do the same, to give to themselves something every day.
And us being here in our podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's, that whole the whole daily thing is that we need to do it. We've spoken about this.
Yep.
The gratitude, I start my day every day with gratitude. Now, if you haven't read it, and I know that you have, but there's a book that I take people through a journey with, and that's called The Magic. And that book is absolutely bloody brilliant. It's 30 days or 28 days. And every time we start that with a new cohort, by the time we finish that, there has been absolutely monumental changes in how people's lives have been. And that's as simple as those three, the three things that you're grateful for. I've been practicing this for 20 something years, is those first thing in the morning before I do anything, as soon as the eyes open, there's those three gratitude statements that I make.
Yep.
And feel it. It's not until you have had, at age 21, I was told that I was going to be needing assistance because my eyes were so bad that I was going to lose my sight. So when you look like losing something, you appreciate it more. So I've had laser surgery now, so I've got, my eyesight's great, but thank God for technology. But I'm still really grateful that every morning I can open my eyes and see the beauty of the day. And it doesn't matter. Today it's overcast and cold. Yesterday we had sunshine. It was windy. Last night we had a women's circle here and a cacao ceremony, and we had the fire on. But when we were getting ready for it, it was blowing an absolute gale. And I'm thinking, oh my Lord, how's this fire? Like, is this going to be dangerous with this fire? Have I got people positioned properly around the fire? Now, what if the wind's coming from that way? Are they going to get burnt there? Like, all of this stuff. And then when it came time, it was the wind went down.
Yeah, perfect.
So, but you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what the day is. I never curse rain. I've come from a place where we lived in drought for years upon years upon years. And so the one thing that I get really down with people saying all the time is, oh, this bloody rain, or this bloody rain. Love it. Love the rain, love the sunshine, love the snow.
I love it all. I love all the seasons.
Yeah. And, you're so fortunate. It's snowing down there, and you can go and sit in front of a bloody fireplace inside.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, I always do give a thought for the homeless. And I just think, I wish, one of the big things I would like to do eventually is just have a big van filled with warm blankets and sleeping bags that I could just drive around and give the homeless warmth in winter.
I love what they've been doing here in Brisbane, and that's taking over the paid car parks.
Oh,
and there's a group that goes in there with airbeds and whatever, and they put up all these airbeds with blankets and whatever, and they convert the overnight time, it's for the homeless. So they've got somewhere that they can go and have a warm meal, a warm night's, out of the weather. And, that should be something that is a priority, because all of those car parks that are paid car parks are vacant overnight time. And there's a lot of people that could do well.
Is that like a indoor car park?
Yeah. So when it's like an underground, there's one over, I think, at Bayside that they do it quite regular around Manly
I love
area.
That concept.
And and the people there, it's in a shopping centre, and where they got offices and whatever, and it's all the buildings are locked, but the car park is open for the volunteers to go in, and they go in and with all of their vans and whatever, and put all of these beds up. and they set up like a Rosie's kitchen. Like Rosie's goes around here and feeds the homeless anyway with, you know, warm soups and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we've got a lot of other groups that are doing exactly the same, like really good philanthropic, giving back to people who are less fortunate. The downside at the moment is that we're finding there's a lot more people that are becoming homeless because of the situations that we're living in. And so right now it is about whatever we can do for fellow man, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of people that are displaced because of floods, and there's, you know, a lot of people that are displaced because of financial reasons and
mental health. Wendy,
yeah,
losing a lot of people. I have had a client even just very recently in the last week, who I had a phone call from her family because she's now on the streets, and a woman of a highly regarded professional.
Yeah, but that's becoming a bloody norm.
It absolutely is. And I've worked with Orange Sky
because, you know, that's the downside. But they're the people that are, you know what I've been doing, like with helping people build, well, you know, have a website home and helping them get something that's established, that's, you know, that taps into what their true experiences are, and then what their life skills are, and what they can give back to others. And you know, maybe it might be just an affiliate thing that they can start to earn some money, because that's ultimately where it's at, is that we have got so many people that have lost jobs, that have lost income, that, you know, we need to be able to have a space where people who are more fortunate in managing their mind, because we know the you know, the whole mindset thing that comes in, and how you can spiral out of control into that, and I don't want to sound, you know, derogatory or, you know, demeaning, but into that victim, you know, mode, where we can never see, where, you know, ultimately we lose hope. And, you know, that's exactly where the Self-Love Summit started, wasn't it? It was that's absolutely about mental health and about people spiral, you know, where they were at and what they were enduring. And so, you know, again, what we put out, we get back. So if we're going to put out some good thoughts, and if we can just get you know, get the work to these people where we can maybe change, you know, move the needle away from, and let them see, get away from the hopelessness onto what the possibilities are, then, you know, life can have a different outcome. But
totally. And Nick and I have been having that conversation a lot this week, where you know, we've constantly been talking how the energy at the moment is so powerful, like just so powerful, that we have to be really careful what we say. And I can't stress that to everybody, all our listeners out there. You need to be careful as to what's coming out of your mouth or what's being thought in your head, because we are attracting that so fast. So if you're thinking something negative or not serving of you, be careful, because that might come rushing back to you. And
we are master manifestors right now.
We absolutely are. I can guarantee, and I've been saying to Nick, and she's like, she was only just saying to me yesterday, she said, you know, Sharon, I used to believe in this, but at the moment, I just can't believe how fast and how unbelievably consistent it is at the moment, how it just is. And we were sort of laughing about it, going, yeah, well, it probably is like that all the time, but just maybe we are more aware of it right now.
I think we're calling in things way faster than we've ever been able to before. I think it's the rise in the consciousness across the planet is
totally,
it's palpable. Like you know that it's happening. It's not something
absolutely,
and that is the Great Awakening. That is the awareness, you know.
That's exactly right.
It's living every day, being more aware than what we ever were before, and being more aware of ourselves and our lives, and you know, how we've been pinching off that flow, because, you know, ultimately when we release the hose, everything happens. So,
and I talk about this in my mediumship and coaching program that I run, how I say to these ladies, when I first started out, which is nearly 30 years ago, I had my mentors telling me, you know, this will take time and blah, blah, blah. I've now got women that have come into my group. So it's a 12-month program, and they're all due to graduate soon. And they've come in. I actually have one particular lady who started later in the program. Oh my goodness, she's so far ahead. But this whole cohort of mediums that are coming through now, some are going to pursue it professionally, some have already started pursuing it professionally, some have just done it because they just want to do it for themselves. But these, and they're all women, interestingly enough, have just gone just like that, just like that. Yeah, and you know, they're doing stuff that took me like 20 years.
Yeah.
And they got it. You know, there's this one woman that's been in the program 10 months and she's reading people professionally and accurate.
Yeah.
And that just tells you what the energy is like out there. The energy is just like, it's there, it's happening. If you're thinking it, as Bob Proctor always says, if you can hold it in your hand, you can, you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
Yeah.
And that is exactly how it is right now. I can't stress our listeners, you know, so how they have to be aware of what they're thinking and what they're saying and what they're putting out there, because it's coming back so fast.
Yeah. Because we are the creators of our own reality.
We absolutely are. I'm continuously saying it's our choice, it's our thoughts, it's our actions and our reactions, and we have to take responsibility for the whole 4 of them.
Yep. Yeah, for sure we do. You can't not participate. Yes,
No.
yes, we can manifest, but it would be really ignorant to think that you could just go and sit on a mountain and do the old because your higher being, God, whatever you wish to perceive it to be, is going to be telling you what needs to happen next. And they're the steps, they're the choices that you need to make. If you keep ignoring, there's a story, I was trying to think about this. There's a story that I've read, and it's been in one of the courses that I've attended, where the guy asked for something and decided to go to the top of the mountain and you know, meditate. And the words kept coming through to do this, do that. He was like, no, don't need to do that. And then someone was put in, you know, the next thing was someone was put in their way and actually mentioned something. No, I don't need to do that. And then the next thing was, you know, it was like a slap, because I always say it's a fluff wham. You know, it's the gentle nudge, and then it's like a little bit more, and then it's like slap up the side of the head. And when the wham come, and he said, but you know what I asked for, what I meditated for, what like all of that stuff, you know, it didn't happen. And then, you know, God voice, and there's a God self, came through and said, well, I gave you I kept showing you, I kept giving you all the things, but you just kept ignoring it.
Yep.
And that's exactly where we need to acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
Is that, you know, we had a conversation last night about exactly this. You can't think that you don't have to do anything. And it's what you deem as being a success is in your own, like that's an individual, it's very subjective. So it's up to the individual.
What does success mean to you? We all have our own individual meaning of that.
Absolutely. And so when you're thinking about that success, it is about what you have to do. There's got to be, you've got, you know, everything's energy. So you can't, what you give out, you get back. What, you know, that's as easy as it is. It's about where you know, what you are putting out energetically. It's like, you know, when we put our services out with grace and ease, and the income that comes in as a result of that is energy coming back to us, because money is only energy.
That's exactly right.
It's a form of energy. It's a form of us, you know, receiving something for what we've given.
Yes.
And so this whole premise that we don't need to do anything is just false. It's a false illusion, and it's we don't have to be doing beings.
No.
But we don't have to be lazy undoing beings, or you know, lazy, you know, sitting on our hands beings.
Well, basically, it's not going to come to us if we just sit there. That's as simple as it gets.
We can co-create We can, absolutely we can. But we've got to take part.
Yes, we have to be present.
We can't just
comes
sit
back
there.
to being present, doesn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
It really
and intuitive.
Present. Yes.
Listening, because you're going to get those messages.
Yes.
But so often we think, oh no, that's wrong. Who would be like, that's just a silly thought. But in actual fact, it's not just a silly thought. If you really sat there and just wrote down all those silly thoughts that you got, then had a look at exactly what it was, it's like a game plan, really.
It's
like,
absolutely.
And because as adults, we pinch off the ability to dream because of our limited thinking. Oh, I could never have that. Or, I could never do that. When you're getting those messages through and you have a look at it, it really is a game plan. Do this, do this, do this. How about like this is your dream. This is, so this can be your reality if you choose. But the trouble is we fail to choose.
Yes. Because
we don't think, and that's where our limited, what we think about ourselves comes in, our limiting beliefs.
Which takes us really right back to 360 degrees in the fact that working from home in the office, it's about how are we managing that? What are our thoughts around that? Are we thinking that it's okay to, in my particular case, which was happening to me, is it okay to work till midnight every night?
And then it even comes down to a little bit before then.
Yeah.
Is it a business or is it a hobby?
Well, this is true.
Are you choosing that this is going to be what your gift to the world, and you're going to allow then for the energy of money to come, for a financial reward to come back to you?
Exactly.
Because that's how then you're either the CEO of your own business and you work like a CEO, as in you dedicate the hours here and you still know that you've got to be present with your family. You've got to have a balance there.
Well, you've got to be present everywhere, haven't you? You really have.
Absolutely.
It's really about becoming more aware of where you are present and where you're not. And where you're not, you need to actually start to make sure that you are.
And just make the effort to not be the newsreader.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I have to be honest, just after our conversation even today, and this podcast, of course, it has got me back rethinking.
Yeah.
What do I want to be, the newsreader or the present CEO?
Yeah. And it's as simple as getting...
And it's my choice.
Yeah, absolutely it is. But you know what? It's a home office. And so, and this is what I've been saying even, in our business mentoring group, is that you still got to get dressed up to go to work every day. You've got to be ready. And I always liken it, like I'm not dressed as if I was in my corporate job, my penguin suit.
No. But
I'm respectable.
Absolutely.
And I know that if need be, I could, and someone turned up at my door as a client,
yes,
that the only thing that I probably need to go and change is my slippers. You know what I mean? But, I could open the door and welcome someone in and I still feel dressed and really okay with myself. And my house, I have never been the person who just doesn't give a shit about making sure. I got a little bit of OCD from my dad. So everything has a place and it annoys me when that is out of whack. But yeah, the house is always respectable, and
yes,
my spaces where I work from are always very respectable. And it's it's one of those things that we know that working from home is our deal. That's a solopreneur.
Well, it's our choice, isn't it? We choose it. That's right.
But when we choose that, there's sometimes we get into that blah, that it doesn't matter. We'll just slacken off. Yes. It's like when I said about the relationship, when you're looking to go out on the relationship and you're getting dressed up for dates and you're taking care of yourself and you snap that man up and then you become really cozy and then he offers you chocolate and so you eat it and then you put on the weight and then and then all of a sudden he says, my God, what happened? or it's like, oh my God, I got in the bed, I've got to put some clothes on. Oh shit, they don't fit.
Or more importantly,
it's all of that.
you become so down on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you may have already put on weight before, like, you know, whether you're a larger or a smaller person, we're not judging that because Wendy's smaller, I'm larger. And
oh, yeah, but you know what? The old menopause negates any of that.
but it's not about that. It's about how you actually feel in your heart.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the really big thing. It's how do you feel in your heart and how is that affecting every day of your life?
Yeah.
Because I'm like you, Wendy, anyone could come here at any time of the day and I wouldn't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know, you could go into my studio or you could come into my office or you could just be in our home. And any of those three places are always, I have a thing that I don't leave any of them. I like to go to bed with it the way so I can wake up to it nice in the morning. So
yeah, I'm the same.
And there's times I'm slack, let me tell you, I'm not perfect. But I do that for me. I don't do that for anybody else.
Yeah, I'm the same. The benches will get wiped down with oils in the nighttime so that it smells absolutely beautiful overnight. And when I wake up in the morning and I walk in the kitchen, there's no having to clear clutter away before you can start doing whatever. It's just, and because of the therapeutic benefits of the oils, that's uplifting. And so you're creating that space within and without, like, you know, and outside of yourself. That is just a really nurturing and happy space. Absolutely. Rather than, you know, if you're not taking care, it's that story about the person who, you know, the general who talks about making the bed every day.
Yes.
You know, I think that's a really important thing. And you know that I'd heard it. And
I think you probably should just share it for those that haven't heard it and are just going, what is she talking about?
Okay,
just very quickly share it, I think.
There's a general who says, like in a nutshell, he says, you know, the making the bed every day, just that one common thing every single day, it's a discipline.
Yes.
But the ramifications or the benefits of what you know, that's how you know that you're present, that you're willing to do what's needed in your life, but you're keeping it like there's an organized state and there's a willingness to not be the sloth, the one who just lets things go out of control and yeah, so you're willing to show up in your own life more or less. But it was really quite funny because when, like, I'd heard that like a number of times, and then my boy who still lives here, he called me and he said, Mum, I want you to listen to something. And I said, oh, yeah, okay. So he puts it on, because it's available on YouTube. If you just go in there and I'll put a link to it in the comments, in the description of the video of the podcast. But he said, oh, I want you to listen to this thing. So I sat in there with him.
I'm so sorry about my dogs.
That's okay. It's life. Mine's doing a little bit of a scratch around here too, so it's okay. I've got a 15-year-old who's very like geriatric, and you've got some lively boys. So it's like
the husband's just gone off on the motorbike, and they got FOMO.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Yeah, so he called me in and wanted me to listen to this thing, and proceeds to play this track for this thing for me about the general. And I was like, you know what? He got it. You know, he got it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't me harping at him. It was me making those kinds of things available and, you know, knowing, and I think that, you know, what I'm, you know, God, it's on my business cards, you know, the positive ripple effect in the busyness of living. I believe in the ripple effect. Everything of mine is called the ripple effect.
That's right.
And so me being in that space, that rippled out and he got that encounter, not because I went and forced it down his throat, but because it became part, like it was drawn to him.
Totally. And well, my mother was a general. I had a general mother. So wow. She was the general. She was a nurse. So what we had to do was make our bed the minute we got out of bed.
Yeah.
You know, as in, and she would say to you, if you got up and you went to the toilet and did whatever, she would allow you to go as far as having breakfast and get dressed. And then you had to go back into your room and make your bed.
Yeah. We could never leave the house unless the bed was made.
And it just is something I like to do now as well.
Oh,
In saying that, hubby was telling me just the other day that by not making your bed, it's actually got better health benefits, because apparently we lose so many particles and stuff in our body overnight time that we should actually air our bed out. So there you go. Look, it's
I've got a girlfriend who's a beautician who kept telling me the same thing. But you know what? I think it's, when we're talking about self-care, my bedroom is my space, and I love to have it. It's the one place where I can make it my own, and it's beautiful, it's fluffy, and it's like it's pretty, and so I make sure, like, I just love to sleep on really good sheets, and I love to make that and have a beautiful doona cover and lots of pillows and cushions and throws and flowers on the flower arrangements on the sides of the bed and crystals, and I just love to have that space looking like, to get it looking absolutely beautiful as a gift to myself every morning. So whether I was working my corporate job or whether I'm working from home, it's always been the case. And I just simply, if I have not made my bed by the time I get into the office, I'm just so agitated. I'm like, this is crap. And there's times where that's the case, because I work in a national time zone. So I'm doing, sometimes, like I did a workshop from 2 a.m. till 5 a.m.
That's right.
Did another one at 6 a.m. And, there's all this stuff. So I'm quite often on a Zoom at 5. I'm quite often in the office right up until, sort of that 7:30, where I haven't made the bed before. No, and then, right. So I've thrown a trackie on. I've come in to do, all those workshops where I've got up and I've actually got dressed for business. Like I was going on my airport run to get on my plane to go on my corporate journey that I used to go on, up to 4 flights a week when I was in that corporate penguin space world. I will do that on occasion if it means that that's what I've got to do. But if it's something which is just an hour-long Zoom, then so I'll get up about half an hour before. I'll have a
wake up,
have a quick shower, put a trackie on, make a cup of tea, come into the office and do what I've got to do. I don't make the bed before I do, so I'll go back out and do that again. But it becomes part of who. Like, I just cannot imagine any day not doing exactly that. Like, that to me would be that would be a way, when people are thinking, how do we know that there's something wrong? Yes. If anyone was to walk in and see my bed unmade, they would have to think there's something wrong with her, like she's not well.
Yes, Rob's a bit like that too. He knows if I'm having a bit of an off day because I haven't made the bed.
Yeah.
In saying that, my bed, like I'm a white person, so I have white linen and, again, good quality linen, but we're all very different. I don't have all the crystals and all of that sort of stuff. I just have, but I've got 2 massive big windows that look out onto our property, so that's basically my landscape. But again, it's I don't know, I probably would like to say I probably don't feel, I feel probably naked if I don't.
Yeah, I do.
If I'm not ready for the day.
Like I haven't put my pants on.
You're
walking out of the bedroom without your pants
right.
on. Yeah,
and it's as simple as those little things, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just time. But I'm the same like that, Wendy, I must say, with meditation now as well. So if I haven't meditated, either whether it's in bed before I get up, or I'll get up and go to my recliner and just put a meditation on there and just sit in my recliner and just do a meditation. But I need that to start my day. Otherwise, it's like my mind is mush for the rest of the day.
Yeah, just getting clarity. You get, it's like you're getting a download of your to-do, like not your to-do list, but, your life to-do list. It's, your life energy and,
it's my peace and calm, I think. It's my peace and calm.
Yeah. Yeah,
that gives me the peace. And the bed, I have to say, the bed does a very similar feeling to that.
Yeah. And see, when we're talking, I do my 3 gratitudes and do my bathroom thing, which is always my tongue scraping, my oil pulling, oiling down. Love to get on my yoga mat and stretch out, wear those, as you get into our age. And, it's like I always like in yoga because I'm just waiting to finish off my qualifications. And so how I liken it is that it's that rubber band that you haven't moved in a while and it starts to get inflexible.
Yes.
And so
yes.
getting on that mat and really reading into my body to find where the stiffness is and, you know, how can I stretch that out? And then being very mindful that when you're in the process of doing all of that, that you're actually seeing that, you know, those muscles and tendons all starting to get pliable again.
Yes,
and so
yes.
then you feel like you're ready to start the day.
Oh, totally.
And that's
totally.
where I was saying before, you know, a movement is a choice.
Yes.
You know, whether it's a walk in nature, whether it's a gym session, whether it's yoga or Tai Chi or just something, but move the energy in your body. Move it.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
totally.
I'm not asking you to be gym junkies, but just
no.
Get in and do something, move
Just
in some
move.
way.
And I'm fortunate. I've got my yoga becomes my grandchildren because I get down on the floor with them quite a lot. So and it is important that you can move with them. I don't want to be that grandmother that can't pick them up and pardon me, be rolling around on the floor with them. And I just, that's my choice. Again, it comes back to my choice. I don't want to be that grandmother. I don't want to just sit and hold them in a chair because they don't want to just be sitting in a chair. They want to be rolling around the floor. You know, my granddaughter's 10 months old, so she wants you to be on the floor with her as she's rolling around.
Oh my God, that's flown. I remember when she was born. I know.
She's almost 11 months. She's going to be 12 months soon.
That's incredible. It's just flown. I reckon that these last 2 years, 2.5 years, have just absolutely.
No, she mustn't be. She mustn't be 10 months. Yeah, I thought Ash said she was. But her birthday's not till October. Where are we? June, July, August, September, October. She must be 8 months.
Yeah, but it's just even then. It seems like only 3 months ago that she was born.
Yes,
it's just
madness, isn't it?
That's how quick things are moving. That's how quick we can manifest.
Manifestation. And I guess that actually is a very relevant comment, Wendy, about how you can liken. If you're finding that the time is moving fast, that is because that's the energy that we're living in right now. Everything is moving fast.
Look, I don't know about you, but we have the weekend, and then on Monday it's like, oh, it's Monday, and then it's like a blink, and by God, it's Friday. It's just gone so quickly.
It's before you even know it. Like, look at us, we're in mid-June.
I know. Crazy.
Okay, maybe not quite mid-June, we're in beginning of June, but it's the 7th. Like, we're heading into the mid of June.
And it's gone so quickly. And the business mastermind, that's like, it's just flies.
That's often how I time things, actually. I quite often think of our mastermind that I'm in with you, where I keep reflecting back to where I've come. I know we've talked about my business was doing quite well, but it needed to change, and I had changed so much. I was no longer, my business coming up to 6 years, and I was no longer that person that I was when I started that business 6 years ago. So taking the mastermind with you it's actually what it's done. It's allowed me to align with who I now am. And so given me so many more skills and confidence to be able to continue to grow my business.
And it's having that, our weekly scrums where it's like an accountability thing. It's just
it is, yes.
I remember back in and why I created that container was I can remember back, I used to lead a team. And the one thing that we used to do was every Monday morning, we would start the week with a scrum. And that was, okay, so what are we bringing forward from last week that still needs to be done? And what are the priorities for this week? And so that's where you're working. And so I had an idea of where everyone was in their whole scheme of things. Now, that was me as leading a team, but that is the same thing that I was doing with myself. I was doing that, but solo. And as a solopreneur, I understood that there was other people like you know, so many, there's so many people out there that are doing it on their own. And
it's a lonely world.
It is a bloody lonely world. And to be able to have that space, that container where people can come, they can tap in. If they don't achieve, it's totally self-responsibility.
Yes.
But it's having that place where you can feel that you can come in. And the beauty of it is that you can have the power of the energy of the mastermind to give you the confidence, the drive to achieve what you want to achieve, but also that if there's any little roadblocks there, that you've got someone who's got the skill and expertise in an IT or a business sense to be able to help you iron it out. Absolutely. And the one thing is about being able to verbalize it, talk it out, and then to start to, you know, work around how to resolve it. And that's the big thing.
We're probably going to have to wrap this up shortly anyway, I think, Wendy. So we've really had a great robust discussion, I think, today, where we've really just talked about a little bit of everything, but most importantly, how it doesn't matter whether you're in your office at home or you've gone into the office. It's all about self-respect for you and just making sure that you are feeling the best version of you wherever you are with whoever you are.
Yeah. And being kind to yourself in the process.
Absolutely.
And actually that is absolutely what self-love's about.
It is.
It's learning to be kind to yourself.
And I think that's one of the things that Louise always taught. She always talked about being kind to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, you know, God knows it can be a pretty ugly space out there, you know, when you start to go about your day and you're coming up against different people who have got different issues.
Yeah.
You know, if you decided to believe everything that everyone said to you, or took offense to everything that anyone mentioned or, you know, said, then life would be a pretty ugly place, and you wouldn't be kind to yourself. You know, you would spend all of your time. Wayne Dyer's quote, you know, the highest place that you can get is in the conscious decision that not to take on the good opinions of others.
Yes, and absolutely. And Esther Hicks actually says, what somebody says about you is none of your business.
Absolutely. And so that's, you know, when we're talking about self-care, it's those things. They're the important things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because that's creating the environment for you then to be able to embark on doing anything nice for yourself, but ultimately it rests with you between here.
Yep.
Yeah. And you have to make that conscious choice. Life's about choices.
Back to the choices.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, on that note.
What another brilliant session.
Yeah. Let's do this again soon.
Okay, I look forward to talking. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you know what? We keep forgetting. Don't forget to subscribe to and like this podcast and this session on YouTube. We would love to have you give us a hand to get this message out to others. And by giving us a subscribe, giving us a like, it helps the algorithms make sure that this gets in front of people. So thank you in advance, and see you on the next session.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.